Hey Pistons, it's Shane with Show Your Ad for Brandon here. We're looking at another episode of the justice system under the microscope. Right now, we're going to be talking about the impaired driving laws under, the Department of Justice from the government of Canada. And right now, under the criminal code, it states that any impaired driving, no matter what the degree is, the penalties of this offense will range from minimum fines to life imprisonment. And we're going to go very lightly on the term life imprisonment because, again, I've yet to hear stories of that actually happening. But then again, maybe you are a person that's actually witness to the justice system actually laying out true justice and actually sentencing someone who was impaired to life imprisonment. But as far as I'm concerned, I have yet to hear that story because from where I'm sitting, it's never happened. But, okay. Right now, we're going to be looking at these penalties. I've got them laid up on here, and right now, we're going to be looking at things from what they're being charged with to the first, second, and third offense. So, alcohol and drugs, and a combination of both. They pretty much fall under that same category for general impairment. Let's just call that general impairment because, as far as I'm concerned, there's no fucking difference between the two. So, first offense, there's a minimum fine of $1,000 and maximum fine of 10 years imprisonment. And if you refuse to comply with the demand for a sample of your breath or your saliva, that's a minimum fine of $2,000. Okay. The fine, get rid of it. Just throw them straight into freaking jail because that's just ridiculous. Yeah, I know. We got to make a quota and we got to make money somehow. But as far as I'm concerned, if anyone is just dumb enough to fucking drive high or drunk, they deserve to be fucking thrown in jail. Because, again, you're a fucking moron. But, yeah, second offense, 30 days imprisonment and 10 years is a maximum sentence. 30 days still isn't enough. Maybe if someone's smart enough, they'll figure out that, hey, maybe I shouldn't do this ever again. But I would probably put them at least within a year, starting. That's, for me, a 1 year sentence is mandatory imprisonment. That's might be just a start. If someone's actually really guilty about what they do. If they're not guilty about it, I'd say 5 years. That's starting. Because you deserve to rot, at least for a little bit, to know what it's like to actually, fuck up. And then, third offense, 120 days, maximum 10 years. Again, bullshit. That should be 10 years, mandatory minimum, and 15 years, maybe 20. I know it, let's go with 20 maximum. Because we really want them to fucking rot. Because that's just fucking stupid. And now, man, you're driving with drugs. Maximum fine of $1,000 because you're less than 5 nanograms of THC in your blood within 2 hours of driving. Okay, if we're going to fine people, let's fine them up the ass. Let's do $5,000 or even $10,000. Because guess what, folks? Being stupid should fucking cost a lot of money. This is beyond fucking stupid. And if you're going to do this shit, you better believe we're going to charge you up the fucking ass. Because as far as I'm concerned, you should either sell all your fucking vehicles or sell your fucking house because you're this stupid. But again, that's all my opinion. And this is nothing against anyone else in the committee or anyone else that Show Your Ad for Brandon as far as I'm concerned with this. But this is just my own personal opinion. You can agree to disagree. I don't care. I'm pretty harsh about this stuff. So, yeah. And, okay. These two categories here. These are the big ones right there. Impaired driving causing bodily harm and impaired driving causing death. This, to me, ladies and gentlemen, is where all the problem is with the justice system. Right, that those two sections alone, that's where all the problems are. Because, 1, maximum 2 years imprisonment, less a day. Okay, just can someone please rewrite that because I don't literally get that at all. That doesn't make any sense. That's not even proper English. I suck at English, but even I know that's not proper English. And now the indictment is a maximum of 14 years imprisonment. You hurt someone while you're driving impaired. As far as I'm concerned, that is just about as bad as... Actually, you know what? No. That is just as bad as killing someone while driving drunk or high. Because there was still the potential for you to actually kill them still. So why are we going to make that less harsher just because they didn't actually do it? Like, this is just ridiculous. You just can't justify anything else less than, short of a politician somehow losing their family member to an impaired driver. Because that's only when things might actually change around here. But hey, that hasn't happened as far as I'm concerned, and it probably never will, unfortunately. But hey, that's a whole nother topic. Anyways, biggest load of bullshit ever, and this is just the biggest fucking lie, period. Impaired driving causing death, and the indictment is maximum life imprisonment. When the fuck has that ever happened? When the fuck has anyone who ever drove high or drunk or just impaired killed someone and literally serving a life sentence imprisonment? When the fuck has that ever happened? If there is a case that anyone can reference that I can refer back to on this, please let me know. Like, that's just a big bunch of bullshit. And if you have that actually happen to you, I would really love to hear that, because to me, that is the only real sense of actual justice when it comes to this whole stupid fucking mess. When it comes to impaired driving, like, seriously. Never, ever, ever in the history of any time I've heard people talk about being a victim of impaired driving, have they ever said to me, the person, man, woman, whatever the fuck they are, yeah, they actually ended up serving a life in prison for killing someone that I know. Yeah, that's never ever fucking happened as far as I'm concerned, and I highly doubt it ever fucking will, because our system doesn't allow that to fucking happen. Because we always give these guys a fucking slap on the wrist every single fucking time. Because as far as I'm concerned, and as far as I know, there is no mandatory minimum sentencing for impaired driving causing death. Which is actually true, because as you can see from between the first, second, and third offense, it talks about a mandatory minimum. But where does it fall under the other categories here? It just talks about a summary, or it talks about an indictment, or it talks about a maximum fine or a minimum fine. Where is the mandatory minimum sentencing behind all this? Again, I'm not a law student. I'm not entirely sure how the justice system works as a whole in general per se, but I know well enough that this is the kind of system that needs to be redone entirely. Like, this whole thing needs to be fucking changed rapidly. Everything needs to go fucking up by at least maybe 5 times, and everything just needs to be harshened. We need to be stricter on this stuff. We need to get these fucking assholes off the road, period. As far as I'm concerned, they shall be stripped of their license, never allowed to drive fucking again, never allowed into a fucking liquor store, bar, wherever, dispensary. Don't give a shit. I just don't give a shit, because this is the kind of stuff that it pisses me off. Like, it just royally pisses me off, because this is the society that we live in, folks. For those of you in Canada, your justice system, as far as I'm concerned, doesn't give a shit about the victims of impaired driving. It just doesn't. Because look at what happened to Brendan. Kim and Kayla have been fucking suffering for the last 7 years because of this system, and they have done nothing about it. The system has not changed anything. There is literally no justice to what happened to Brandon. And as far as I'm concerned, every other case has never been served justice. Regardless of the situation, impaired driving in general, whether you're hurt or whether someone was killed, there just isn't enough strictness on it. There just isn't. And you say, oh, well, that was just their first time, where it's just like, oh, they just feel really bad. Yeah, and you know what? Growing up as a kid, you probably did some stupid stuff too, and you felt really bad about it, but still, you still got punished really harsh for it, didn't you? A lot of the kids got the belt strap. Even if they meant it innocently, you still got the fucking belt strap, and that shit hurts. Like, again, just because we're so lenient on letting people off with this shit, I that's not an excuse anymore. I just don't think that should be an excuse, period. Get it together. Let's just throw these fuckers all in jail, or fucking charge them up the fucking ass. Let's really make them fucking pay. If you're gonna fucking pay a fine, you better damn well believe that it should be a fucking ridiculously stupid high fine, because I can guarantee you, anyone who sees a fine of $10,000 for anything, $10,000 and above, you better believe that they're not gonna fucking do it, because who the fuck has $10,000 just happen to lying around willing to pay for this stuff? Not your everyday person, especially not someone who's fucking stupid enough to drive drunk or high, because let's be honest, half the time they're all fucking broke and miserable. So where the fuck are they gonna have $10,000 in cash lying around, unless you're a fucking celebrity or a multi-millionaire? Even then, I think that's just fucking bullshit. But again, we're gonna finally get down to the end of this list here. Blood alcohol content and fining. Mandatory minimum $1,000, $1,500, $2,000, and this is ranging from 80 to 160 or more milligrams of blood alcohol content from your first offense. Great. What about all the other offenses? What about those ones? Are we just going to say, nope, they just get the first offense and the second and third are free? Just fuck off already. Like I said, if you're going to make people fucking pay, make them pay up the fucking ass. Because you know what? People are broke enough as it is. And if you think they're dumb enough to pull this kind of shit, and they see a fine of $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, well, guess what? That's fucking it for them. Because then that means that they have to go to fucking jail. If you can't pay your fines, then you go to fucking jail. And when you go to jail, I think you should go to fucking jail for quite a while. Make yourself fucking sit there and actually think on how stupid you were and the fucking shit you could have made happen. What happened to Brandon was absolute bullshit. The sentencing that happened was absolute bullshit. 2 years and 8 months? Where the fuck does that fall under this fucking chart? It falls under some fucking low garbage. Anyone else who's a victim of impaired driving knows that this is all fucking bullshit. And as far as I'm concerned, people can just fuck off. All impaired drivers can just fuck off. You're a fucking piece of shit. You're just a fucking piece of shit to the rest of us that actually lost someone because of the fucking stupid choices that you decide to make driving drunk or driving high, which to me makes no fucking difference, literally. There is no difference. I don't care what you say. I don't care what your condition is. When you smoke weed or when you drink 10, 15 beers, you're not a better fucking driver. I don't care. I don't fucking care what you say. Don't do it. Get a fucking ride home. Call a friend. Call a cab. Call an Uber. Call Keys Please. We have a great sponsorship with them. We have a great partnership going on with them. And they're fantastic. They're a great service that we use. And I'll tell you what. You'll thank everyone in the end, because either you do it or you better have a friend do it for you. Because if you don't, you're going to be that person that ends up going to be on the road and killing someone. And I hope people have enough of a conscience that if they do that, then they'll just be like, hey, you know what? Just throw me in for life. Just throw me in for life. I literally just took someone's life because I decided to drive impaired out of my own choice, and it wasn't alcohol or drugs that forced me to do this or anything like that. Just throw me in jail. for life. I don't care. Like, this is, to me, I have morals, I have values, I have ethics. I should be in jail for life because I took a life. But then again, that's just my opinion. Some people have different opinions on this stuff, and as far as, you know, if you say, oh well, you know what, there should be, like, you know, harsher sentencing and stuff like that, or the sentencing needs to be more categorized, or it should be, you know, methodically thought out. Great, that's totally great. But if you're saying it doesn't have to happen at all, then you're probably one of those people, like I said, drive drunk or high, and in that case, just fuck you. Just fuck you. I have enough of that shit. And again, this stuff just pisses me off altogether. And if you are a victim, it probably pisses you off too. I honestly wouldn't blame you if you listened to this and literally got so fucking mad you punched a hole in the wall. That's fair. You should punch a hole in the wall. You should punch multiple holes. You should smash a window, smash glass bottles. You should just do whatever you want to get out all that anger, because you're a victim. And as far as I'm concerned, victims don't get justice. Not in impaired driving cases. There is no justice for victims of impaired driving. But that's what Show You Right for Brendan is all about. We want to make things change. We actually want things to actually get better when it comes to this stuff, because it hasn't. There really hasn't been much change going on. Yeah, there have been some changes, but are those really changes good enough? Like, is it really going to bring a lot of people a lot more peace even after it all happens? Because from what I've seen, it never has. And it probably never will. And I hate to be, you know, negative about this, but I just don't see it happening anytime soon. Unless people actually go out there and make a change and actually voice it and say, no, enough's enough. Let's throw these laws out the window and really, really hit it hard and harshen this stuff up, because we've been letting impaired drivers get off for far too long with too many slaps on the wrist. And you'd be surprised at how many times it actually happens and how many people die as a result of it all. But that's another statistic for another time, folks. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you got to some sort of education out of this, or maybe you just enjoyed listening to me rant and cuss my mouth off, because, yeah, like I said, this stuff really just pisses me off. But anyways, guys, hope you're having an amazing day. Remember, always drive safe. Call a friend, call a cab, call an Uber, call a taxi. Call Keys, please. Message Show You Right for Brandon. You know, one of our committee members is more than happy to, you know, get up in the middle of the night and make sure you get home safe. That's what we're all about here. So remember, folks, don't drive impaired, drive safe, and arrive alive. Take care for next time, and we'll talk to you later.